Hey, Stillwater. Welcome to the Still Connect podcast, a podcast all about Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'm your host, Denver Evans, a born and raised Stillwater local and owner of Stillwater Digital Marketing. Every Wednesday, I share a friendly chat with someone in our community that's helping make Stillwater such a great place. Whether you're a longtime resident or just a visitor, this is your place to plug in, stay inspired, and still connect with the stories that shape our community. And if you ever want to watch these interviews, you can check them out on YouTube. For this episode, I got to sit with Allyson Jones with Territory Distilling. Let's jump right in.
Hi.
How are you?
Doing well this morning.
So, Territory Distilling.
Yes.
Tell us about it. You guys are based in Stillwater?
We are.
Awesome.
We're just south of downtown on 14th between Perkins and Main. So we're kind of tucked into a neighborhood, a little bit of a hidden gem. But we are making unique spirits right here in Stillwater and trying to, make a name for ourselves.
Awesome. So,
get out there.
So what kind of spirits do you guys make?
So we're still pretty young. So right now we are primarily rum based, although we're working on some aged spirits. We also have a smoked grain spirit. So it's smoked corn. Bad Brad smokes our corn for us.
Very cool.
And then molasses and barley. So it's kind of like a rum whiskey hybrid. Mm-hmm. That one's pretty fun. And then we have a spiced rum, a barrel-aged spiced rum, and then 2 flavored liqueurs. So we have a pecan candy and a lemon, lime, and basil liqueur.
Very cool. Very cool. So take us back. How did you get into this?
Yeah, so we were home brewers in the Stillwater Brewers League, which is still around. It's a whole lot of fun. We were home brewers for years and really enjoyed that hobby. I was in grad school, and then we had our daughter 6 years ago, and in the labor and delivery room, my husband couldn't sleep because he just got like a folding chair to stay the night, and so he started going through like YouTube videos of distilling, and was like, I think we can do this. I want to expand our hobby. 10 seconds and on Google told us that was a felony. So we couldn't home distill. So we looked into, okay, how can we make this like a weekend gig, like a part-time, like hobby business? Mm-hmm. The more we got into the regulations and the requirements, we realized that's really not what they want you to do. So they kind of set it up to where you have to really open a business and not just kind of do it out of your, back barn or whatever.
Or something like that.
Yeah. And so I was in grad school, not really looking super excited about working back in engineering, which is what I was previously. Didn't really want to work for anyone else. Again, kind of wanted to do my own thing. And so we just decided, okay, well, this is the perfect opportunity. I'm not tied to anything. I have a degree in food process engineering.
Oh, wow.
And so, let's just give it a go. So we found a building, rented it, built it out, and started making product.
Awesome.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
Because it was right at the beginning of COVID.
Oh,
so we started in 2020.
Yeah.
And so it took us about 2 years to open, which is pretty industry standard for distilleries. But 2 years to open, and then we've been open for almost 3.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
So what's that been like?
It has been a lot of work. You see those memes where you're like, this is what I thought I would be doing, but what I'm actually doing.
Right.
And it's what I thought I'd be doing is like creating recipes and talking to people and ordering supplies and, making sales and like all that still happens. But mostly what I do is wash dishes and clean tanks. So it's a lot more labor intensive than I expected, which is fine, important, but it's every kind of step of the way we have learned that the reality is different than we thought it would be. Mm-hmm. And so we thought when we first started our business, we were only allowed to sell through a wholesaler to hopefully someday that wholesaler would talk to a liquor store or a restaurant or a bar. Right. We are not allowed to make direct sales. We can go and we can give tastings at retailers, but we're not allowed to deliver. State law prohibits us from doing that. Yeah. And so the laws changed a couple of years ago
Yeah.
where we could sell to our wholesaler and then buy it back. And now we can sell it retail
Weird.
out of our with his markup.
That is
So
so
now
annoying.
but we can do it now. So we can sell at public events. So we can sell at like festivals now,
Awesome.
and out of our distillery. So that's how we're able to, keep the lights on at this point.
Yeah.
Mostly we sell at festivals right now, special events, things like that. The laws changed last year
They did.
again,
Yep.
which was great. And now we're allowed to sell by the drink
Nice.
only at our facility. So when we first bought our
That's
facility
nice.
or rented our facility, our emphasis was big enough and cheap enough because we were funding it ourselves.
Right.
So we were super blessed, super lucky to be connected with our landlord. We're in a great place as far as it's a very large, clean building. It's safe. I've got small children, so I don't feel ever questioning whether I can take my kids with me or
that's good.
hang out. Excuse me, hang out after the sun goes down, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So we're in a great spot that way. We have a great relationship with our landlord. He is sometimes I'm like, I think we need to put you on payroll because you tell more people about us than we do. And so we've got a great relationship there, great landlord. And we are looking now to, spoiler alert, we're opening a tasting room.
Oh, very cool.
Not sure exactly what that's going to look like or the timeline. Again, we're kind of self-funding that.
Yeah.
But
Is that going to be in your current facility, or are you looking for another place for that?
ideally in our current facility. Our lease is up in May, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay, gotcha.
We're renegotiating our lease right now, but that's our plan.
Cool.
Is to be in our current spot, which is just 4 blocks south of here.
Yeah.
So not too far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So tell me about what it's been like doing this in Stillwater.
So when we first had the vision of a business, we lived in Tulsa.
Okay.
My husband works in Tulsa and still works in Tulsa, so he commutes 3 days a week that direction. We knew we didn't want to be there. The market was kind of saturated. There were already 2 distilleries there, but mostly we didn't want to raise our family there. I've lived in Tulsa a couple of times in my adult life, and I never really felt like home. Kind of Stillwater was always my home base, even though I'm not from here. It's always felt the most like home to me. And so if you can imagine, or if you can remember the scene from The Office when Andy and Aaron were like, but what if we just moved back and we're like happy for the rest of our lives? Like that was basically the conversation that my husband and I had. And so we started looking in Stillwater purely based off of just like, where do we want to be and grow?
So why Stillwater? Is that because you came to OSU or?
Yeah, between the 2 of us, we have 4 degrees
Oh, okay.
from OSU.
Gotcha.
So
you guys have a lot of experience in
we have
Stillwater.
a lot of time here.
Gotcha.
A lot of our people are here, and so it's a community that we have found that is ever changing, but also like deeply rooted, and so that was really accessible. Felt very accessible to us. It was okay to be the new person, but also you could like be welcomed into the fold pretty quickly and not feel new for too long. So that's been really cool. And then as far as, there's some challenges, I think, being in our industry, being outside of the major metropolitan distribution routes that are.
What are some of those challenges?
So our distributor, our wholesaler, is out of Oklahoma City area, and so
Who's your distributor?
we go through. They're another startup called Firebrand Distribution.
Firebrand. Okay, I think I've heard of them.
And so, for example, if a restaurant or a bar or a liquor store wants to buy our product, they have to meet a minimum order in order to make it worth his time to drive to Stillwater.
Yeah.
And so a lot of, like, we have faced where, like, there was a restaurant that wanted to carry our bottles but couldn't afford to meet the minimum order.
Right.
So we lost out on that placement, which is kind of a bummer, but understandable. And it's one of those things, it's like, I understand and empathize with every step in this process, but it just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Being the one who can't, make the
Well, now that
jump.
you can sell and rebuy your product, which is just ridiculous. Now that you can do those individual sales, are you doing more of that?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. When we have retail hours on Fridays, and when we open our tasting room, we'll be open Fridays and Saturdays. That we'll be able to. We do a lot more in person. We've found that if you find us and you taste our product, our turnover rates or like conversion rates are pretty high. So when we go to special events and we can offer you a sample, like most people like it, and it's different enough that like you haven't had anything like this before. So
the flavors you were talking about are really unique.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And that's what we shoot for. Our little like tagline is unique spirits for unique spirits. So that's what we are going for there.
So what is the scene like, both kind of in Stillwater but in Oklahoma as a whole, as far as like distilleries, breweries, just kind of the alcohol scene?
Yeah, so thinking back even like 25 years ago, the wineries kind of took off. The wine market exploded in the early 2000s. And you saw wineries pop up like in every town.
Oh, yeah.
And then probably 10 to 15 years ago, the brewing scene really exploded, really took off. And that there have been some brewery closures, but by and large, a lot of the breweries are still around that popped up kind of out of nowhere. And, I think this town supports 2 breweries just fine. I think we could probably even do more if we wanted to. What we're seeing is in the last 5 years or so that the distilling is starting to get some traction, and we're hoping that that's where that's headed to, that we're going to follow the same trends. We are the 11th license in the state of Oklahoma, like in history.
That feels small.
It's very small.
It feels like a low number.
It's very low. I think we're up to like 14 now.
Okay.
And there's 1 or 2 that have closed over time, and so I don't know exactly how they handle the numbering.
Right.
But we are license number 11, which is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the distilling community. So I'm part of the Oklahoma Distillers Guild. It's very supportive, very collaborative.
That's cool that exists.
When we go to festivals and we see other distillers there, it never feels like competition. It's always like, oh, what are you making? It's just like, I say this lovingly as part of the group, it's like a bunch of nerds just getting around and geeking out over what each other are making, because it's all so different. And that's what I love about making spirits, is even if you have the same recipe and the same run process with different distillers making different decisions about where to make cuts between what makes it into the bottle and what doesn't, you're going to have, with 10 different people, you can have 10 very different products.
Very cool.
So there's an art form to it as well.
Oh yeah, it's an art.
It's very
it's
high
a
tech,
science.
very high tech, but also very personal.
Yeah. So how did your degree did you say it was food engineering?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that help?
So my undergrad's in civil engineering, and I worked in like hydraulics and hydrology for the Corps of Engineers, and then I worked in dam safety. So a lot of like fluid dynamic thought processes there, and then I went back to school for food engineering. A lot of it, I expected to gain more experience in the physics of it all. But really a lot of that kind of came from my civil background. There wasn't a whole lot of new novel concepts. What I really grew the most in that time was the food science part. So like the chemical interactions, the flavor profiles. Like if you put alcohol in a barrel at this percentage alcohol, it's going to pull out these flavors. But if it's 5% more alcohol, it's going to pull out a wholly different flavor profile. And I think that's super fascinating, but sort of untapped experimental potential that I'm really excited to dive into as we continue.
That's great. So what has been your favorite flavor that you've made so far?
Oh, it's really hard. I really like rum, and I really like our spiced rum. It is orange peel, rosemary, and nutmeg. So it's not what you would typically think of when you think of a spiced rum. There's no vanilla or caramel notes, none of that like dark and roasty notes. It's more like gin inspired. And so lighter, brighter, but still like warming spices. It's just like fall.
Oh yeah.
In a glass.
Yeah.
It's just like a hug from the inside out.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So what inspired you to get into alcohol production? Like, so you said you were homebrewers.
Yeah.
How'd you get into homebrewing?
At the time, I got my then boyfriend, now husband, a 5-gallon homebrew gift for his birthday. He was interested, so mostly led by my husband Mason. He's a fan. We're beer fans, we're whiskey fans, rum fans, and then the science is just fascinating, and so it kind of combined two things that we're lovers of, fans of. So yeah, but mostly from the beginning, driven by Mason. And then I kind of got on board pretty quickly, but not really at first. I was in labor, so yeah. I was like, okay, we'll talk in a couple of months. But by the time that our daughter was 6 months old, I was on board for sure.
Very cool. What are some of your favorite aspects of Stillwater?
Favorite aspects of Stillwater? That's a good question. I love how small it feels, but how big it actually is. Coming from Tulsa, it felt big, and it was big. And maybe that's a matter of perspective, but I didn't like that about Tulsa. And here, I mean, you can get across town in 10 minutes. You can get anywhere in 12 kind of thing, unless it's game day. But everybody, it's kind of one of those, everybody knows everybody, or at least you've heard of them. And yet it's big enough that you have a little bit of autonomy, a little bit of privacy, and you can do things without feeling, it's not such a small town that like everyone's looking over your shoulder kind of thing. But the community feeling is like nothing I've ever experienced anywhere else.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing from people. It's just that Stillwater kind of has this unique, again, like you said, like it's big, it offers a lot. Mm-hmm. Bobby Wintle said, Stillwater punches above its weight.
Yeah, I like that.
We offer a lot for the size of community that we are. We're a community of 50,000 people. That's like what our census statistics are. Obviously, we have that influx of students and things like that who aren't counting towards that. Actually, one thing that was really interesting is that when I was talking to Corey Williams, he said that someone or he or some people are working on or need to figure out how to make sure we're collecting that data. Because when we see those, basically the finance statistics in the community, there is more money being poured into the community by these college students who are driving Range Rovers.
Oh,
and,
sure.
All these types of things.
Yeah.
But when there are people who are living here and the money is coming from outside and they are not working or earning that money here, but they're spending it here, it doesn't show up the same way as like these people are living here. This is what their income tax statement said. Right. Therefore, this money is in the community. So we never
really have the full picture.
Yeah, we never really have the full picture. It doesn't all count the same way.
Right.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, Stillwater's awesome. Stillwater's really great. Do you have any favorite like local businesses that you frequent?
I have a few. You sent out some questions for me to go through, but I think on there was what's a hidden gem in Stillwater.
Yeah.
And for me, it's Nilma's food truck.
Oh, yeah.
The
Okay.
Nilla
I've
snack.
heard of it. I've never.
Man. Oh man, it's like life changing.
Oh, yeah.
When I first had Nilla's was like 10 years ago, and I didn't think I liked Indian food.
Oh, yeah.
But someone convinced me to just give it a try, and it's so different than like her style of food, of cooking is so different from a lot of others in town or even like in Oklahoma City or Tulsa. Just like, I may be very wrong here, but I think it's due to like where in India she's from compared to the others. But it's like the coziest comfort food you could ever imagine. Our daughter calls it chicken sauce, her chicken tikka. It is just, it's beautiful. It's so good. And like the loveliest people you could ever hope to encounter is the husband and wife that run Nilma and Krishna, and they're just gems. So they're my favorite for sure.
They themselves are the hidden gem.
They
not
themselves,
even
yes.
the food.
The food is great,
right?
but themselves, they are great. They, every time we go, they always ask about our kids, and they remember, like facts about them. And I want somebody to approach Nilma and say, I will fund you so you can have a brick and mortar, because that's the one downside is it's a food truck. And so you got to be able to sit outside or eat in your car or take it home.
Yeah.
But
well, anyone who's interested in investing in Nilma's.
we can crowdsource this for sure.
So just for people who are listening who maybe aren't familiar with it or have heard the name or aren't sure where it is, where is it?
Nilma is, she's on Duck, right outside of an apartment complex. I want to say,
isn't it like right by like First Christian?
Yes,
Kind of
it's
close
like
to Gallagher Iba.
between First Christian and Elm.
Yeah,
and kind of in a field right there. But the entrance is on Duck.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I'll have to go try that. That's really good.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. What other places do you like?
I downtown. It's still fairly new. I think I have a 1-year-old, so I've been kind of in a bubble in a little last a while. But Little Sapling Market, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, they have a lot of really cool, unique stuff.
Very unique stuff. I like that everything is intentional there. It's not just like an explosion of things. She has definitely taken her time and selected exactly what she wants in there. And every time that we go in, so we do the third Friday Friday stuff. And so we take our kids around, and every third Friday, they always have something for the kids to do.
That's so cool.
So like decorating a card or postcard or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you said she's clearly taken a lot of time to choose all the things that are in her store, I think that's what makes the difference between a local business and a really big corporate store. Like, yes, you can go to Walmart and you can find just about anything that you want, or you can go to a little store that has a really curated selection.
Yes.
You get those places like Little Sapling Market, Typo Market,
Right.
those other local like boutiques, basically. And you can just find some really cool stuff that you might not find elsewhere.
Yeah.
Really
My
cool.
favorite place to shop, though, I think, is the Beatery.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's always something fun and cute going on in there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much great shopping downtown.
Yeah.
You know, one little place that my wife and I really like starting to go, this is kind of weird, but it's a Carmen Corner resale shop.
Yeah.
It's a thrift store.
Yeah.
But we found some old tapes of mine from like my childhood, those little like tiny VHS, cassettes or whatever. And so we bought a VHS. And then we found out, we went into Carmen Corner one time, they have 25-cent VHSs. So now we've like built out this collection of VHSs. And we've set a goal for 2025 that we're going to like try to watch them all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like a quarter. Like you can't get a movie for a quarter anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's fun, watching all the old like VHS commercials and stuff like that. We were watching one, I think it was over Christmas, and we were watching the Santa Claus, and one of the trailers was Toy Story before it was in theaters. It was like coming into theaters 1995, and that fun. It took us back to our childhood.
For sure.
Yeah,
You can never have that experience again for the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Unless you watch it on VHS.
Right. Yeah. Or if you like try to look up the old trailer or something, but that's always kind of the fun thing is that like you get a new VHS and you're trying to figure out like, oh, I wonder what trailers are going to be on this one. So kind of goofy, but we have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, before we wrap up, where do people go to buy your products?
So in Stillwater right now, you can buy them from us.
Preferred, right?
Either way.
Well,
anyway, so you can buy them from us on Fridays. For the month of January and February, we are by appointment only.
Okay.
We are renovating our space, and we don't have heat.
Oh gosh.
So it's come back in the spring when it's a little warmer. But we can meet you there for a couple minutes and sell you something. Or you can go to Still's liquor store on Lakeview and Perkins. Okay. They carry both of our liqueurs, and hopefully soon our aged rum as well, our spiced rum. Our smoked spirit is a warm weather seasonal, so it'll be back because our grain is a seasonal grain. So we have some constraints there, but yeah.
That's fun. It's like a limited edition.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. So before we wrap it up, any final thoughts? Anything you want to share with people?
Let's see. I think I would just say check us out on Facebook or Instagram. You can follow us there. We'll post more information about our build out in our tasting room. I would encourage you to try something new, whether that's spirits or beer or wine or a soda or a new store. Just there's a lot to offer in this town that you probably don't know about. So you could go to a chain restaurant or to Walmart or your favorite local place. Look for something new because there's probably an experience worth having out there.
Absolutely. Always shop local. All right. And folks, for those of you who are wanting to check out their social media and things like that, those links are going to be down in the show notes. So
awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Still Connect. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Allyson. Be sure to check out Territory Distilling on all their social media, linked in the show notes below. And if you loved today's episode, don't forget to follow the podcast on social as well, and to share the podcast with all of your Stillwater friends. If you believe in building community through these conversations, consider supporting the podcast on Patreon, where, for less than the price of a cup of coffee, you can get early access to episodes, a peek behind the curtain at the podcast making process, and a shout out on an episode. With a higher contribution, you can do things like submit questions for upcoming guests, make special requests for the show, get access to online Q&As, and even be on the podcast for an interview segment. No matter what your capacity for supporting the podcast is, every little bit helps grow this amazing community. And we all need community. So even when life gets busy, make sure you still connect.